All right, here we go. Today we have Kevin Bludso, founder of Bludso's world-famous barbecue restaurant, which is where we're at right now. One of my favorite barbecue places in all of LA. I've been eating here for years.
Appreciate it, man.
Hey, man, thank you so much for letting us come in here.
Thanks for being here, man. This pleasure's all mine.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it's your first time here, so I want to get into your whole story before we get into all the food and everything else like that. So you're born and raised in Compton, California.
Born and raised.
Okay.
Yep. Yes, sir.
And your dad was a cop.
Dad was LAPD.
LAPD. And your mom, I guess, used to be a Black Panther.
Black Panther sympathizer, like Pops used to call it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So what was Compton like in the 70s?
I mean, it was cool. Like I say, Compton is cool no matter what. People get Compton twisted, you know. Compton didn't have no projects. Compton was homeowners.
Right.
You know, Compton had a gang problem in the late 70s and 80s, but other than that, it's home. I raised all my kids in Compton, you know what I mean? And like I said, it's like any place else, you know, mainstream media and Hollywood gives it a bad name. It did have a gang problem, but it wasn't a ghetto. I always remember a classmate of mine from college, from Chicago, Cabrina Greens, came to my house one time. And he said, man, I don't never want to hear y'all call Compton a ghetto. Compton got sprawling front and backyards. You know what I mean? But Compton had a gang problem though.
Yeah.
So.
Well, your mom actually has a very interesting story. And I guess she saw her mom get killed when she was like 9 or 10 years old?
Yeah, like 13.
Wow.
13 in Texas.
Okay, well, what happened exactly?
I ain't gonna go in detail, but it was some horrible stuff. A lady shot and killed her, and then that night my uncle, her oldest brother, went and shot and killed the man who was responsible for it.
Oh.
And that's how my family made it from Texas overnight to LA, to Watts.
Right,
And
I guess your uncles went and just grabbed the whole family and just
well,
moved out.
my great uncle did, but my mother's oldest brother had to put in some work that night, you know, so.
Yeah.
And I just actually took my mother back to Hooks, Texas, Texarkana, for the first time since it happened in 1959, I think. So that was incredible.
And your dad was more the calm one, and your mom was kind of more the crazy one from what
my
I
mom
understand.
and her friend, Pop's always been mellow. I mean, they met on some, like my mother said, they met on some BS, because they met in Watts. But my daddy's from Corsicana, Texas, where I live at now in the country. And she said, I should have known he was a lying motherfucker then, because he said, she said, where you from? And he said, I'm from Dallas. He said, okay. He said, where you from? He said, I'm right outside of Texarkana. And my pop said, I'm from Corsicana. She said, your country bad. I knew you was, you know what I mean? So she said she should have known something then, but they both did their thing.
Okay, so you're growing up in Compton, but for the summers, your family sends you back to Texas.
Yeah.
With your granny, who wasn't actually your granny, though.
Granny's my auntie, my grandmother's sister.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I was her pick, because they said she used to say I look like her brother Sane back in the day. So, and like I said, it gave me a whole nother lease on life, you know, because I could go back to Texas and crawfish and fish and get my huckleberry fin on. You know what I mean? Be out all night and all that kind of stuff. And then to come back to Compton and a lot of shit you couldn't do. So I had the best of both worlds.
Well, so your granny had this illegal barbecue spot.
Juke joint.
A juke joint. And you started working there early on.
Yeah, 9 years old.
Okay.
For nothing.
For nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where you kind of got your licks down for actually how to barbecue Texas style and everything else like that.
My granny used to always say, Vlad, like a legal hustle. You got to get a legal hustle. Don't take no penitentiary chances. You know what I mean? Legal hustle was cooking and DJing back then, because she said you never know when you're going to fall off. You never know certain things. So, and like we always called it, it's like the Karate Kid. Instead of wax on, wax off, it's barbecue sauce on, barbecue sauce off. And I always said I never want to go in food service, but I didn't know she was teaching me something I was going to be able to do for the rest of my life.
Well, you go back to LA, you enroll in college.
Yeah.
And then on the side, you're DJing, but you're also catering and putting food together.
DJing in college, playing ball, and then come back, graduate, come back, work for the Department of Corrections. And it happened just like Granny said it was gonna happen. Said, you too much of an asshole to work for anybody, so I ended up getting fired, you know. And I had to fall back on what I knew how to do, hustle, but legal hustle. And that was DJing and catering, you know. Did that for years, and lucky enough in the 90s to do videos, My father raised Mac 10, so he's a close family, and
Nice.
DJing for them catering for them back in the day. So my name got out there real early. So
Okay, so you work for the Department of Corrections, so basically a prison cop.
yeah.
What was the worst thing you experienced during that time?
I mean, I didn't really have no bad experiences because I had the Compton car, and any place I went, I had the Compton car, and they knew who I was. Like I say, I was a man when I came up in there. I was a man when I left, so I never really had no problems. You know, I mean, I've seen like I tell people, I'm born and raised in Compton. Never seen a shooting in my life. The first shooting I seen was at Donovan when I was a correction officer. A guy get shot by a correction officer. You know, that was the first time I ever seen somebody get shot.
Okay, so you start your catering company in LA, and then in 2008, you opened Bludso's in Compton.
Yeah.
And you didn't tell anyone about it. You just decided to go and sign this lease.
Yeah, because I was working with another partner at a place in LA we call Sweet Baby Jeans, and I knew it was just destined to fail. But during that time, didn't tell, my wife at the time or nothing. Just signed this lease, struggling to pay this lease for 6 months before anybody knew that we were gonna open up Bludso's.
Okay, and restaurants are like the hardest businesses to start up, especially if you have no experience.
Yeah,
which
no
you
experience.
didn't have at the time.
No experience, no money.
Right. So here you are, you got this barbecue spot in the middle of Compton, and it starts off a little slow in the beginning.
Real slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, real slow. It like anything else, you building your clientele, you doubting yourself, you know what I'm saying? You doing all that at the beginning. And then, like I say, it just clicked in. I mean, I was lucky, man. Food TV, just all kind of, and one thing, I went on Chowhound, and I posted I felt like I was ready now. So I went on there with a fake name, and I was like, "Any of you guys ever heard of Bludso's?" And my guy, Tony Chow, who was one of the biggest Yelpers around, I didn't even know. And he was like, "Oh my God, don't say nothing about it. That's my spot. I don't want everybody to know about it." And once I posted that, it just started.
Right, because you went from doing like 10 racks of ribs a day to 75 racks a day to, at one point, you were doing 200 racks a day of ribs.
And that's on a slow day.
On a slow day.
Yeah.
How hard was it to deal with a quickly growing business like that? Because, having a slow business is bad, but having a quickly growing business that you're not prepared for, that's a problem also.
It is, but it's a learning experience. I mean, we got hit, so Channel 5, one of the news stations came and did a story on Memorial Day, and then we got hit, and we wasn't prepared for it. You know what I mean? But it's a learning experience. You know what I mean? You got to be knocked down sometime. So, next Memorial Day, we was totally ready. 4th of July, we was ready. But you never know because, like I say, food, TV, and all that was still new. You know what I mean? Like, all that was new. So, I mean, we on the internet, Vlad, almost every week. So every week we getting packed everybody. Not just the locals, everybody was coming to Compton to get that barbecue.
Well, you talked about how growing up in Compton, you didn't really see any violence.
Yeah, I've seen it, but that's the first time I've seen somebody get shot.
Well, then in 2009, someone got shot in front of your restaurant.
Yeah, somebody, it was a shooting right across the street. And it's and her name is Harriet, and I'm still cool with her, white lady from Orange County, and she was so upset. And I had to tell her that, hey, yeah. I said, this is the first time I ever seen somebody get shot. And she totally calmed down. Like, cause she really thought that we were used to that kind of shit. We not used to that shit,
Yeah, well, I mean, you talked about in your book how you really don't like the way LA has kind of been shown in movies, like, for example, Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
Like, what was your problem with Boys in the Hood?
I mean, I just, like, I love Singleton, like, whatever, but a lot of those scenes just made us look barbaric. A dead body in the neighborhood, nobody go claim the dead body. That baby got mother and father somewhere, and that we're cool with that. I'm born and raised. My people born and raised in Watts. Nobody's never been cool with no shit like that. Just all that. Like we know it's a gang problem. We know it's a lot of shit. We know it's some cold-blooded shit. But when you act the normal people in the neighborhood and act like they don't give a damn, nah, that's bullshit. And the Boys and Hood was in the Crenshaw district. Yeah. That's like Compton. It's homeowners.
Yeah. Okay, so the Compton restaurant's doing well, and you actually decide in 2013 to open this place in Hollywood.
So James, I call him Big Game James, was my just a regular customer. Met him, came in. I was about to do another deal with another group I'm not gonna mention. They had a big, huge check for me, and I got up and walked out because the one thing the guy said was, by then I was almost 10 years in with Bludso. I done did the blood, sweat, and tears. And the guy said, got behind me, grabbed my shoulders, you ready for some hard work? And I got up and walked out. You know what I mean? And so then I got young James come at me, young, he ain't got hardly no money, you know, where you want to be in 5 years and 10 years. You know, because like I said, as you expand, you have to have a good team with you. You have a good team, you got to have good family support, but you have to have a good team of where you want to go. I'm not married to this. You know what I mean? So I just kept it real. I didn't want to be in the kitchen till I'm 75 years old. That ain't me. I want to drink Hennessy.
Right. And he owns a bunch of other restaurants as well.
Yeah, so he has a restaurant group, and he's incredible, and he's a rising star in this business.
Nice, yeah. That's actually who I met, who I reached out to, and we hung out, we had some food, and he kind of told me the whole story behind it. Actually, I guess when you guys met, you told him, hey, I got like a funeral to go to?
No, my granny's 90th birthday party.
Oh, birthday party, sorry, my bad.
And they showed up, him, Noah, and Kevin showed up at the party.
Right.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And after that night, I told him I was fucking with him.
Yep.
Because they came, they was OG, they had a good time. I mean, James was OG. You know, he fucked with Baron Davis and everybody, he OG.
Right.
Hell of a point guard, that's why I call him Big Game James, you know.
Right, because I guess you took him around all the other kind of legendary Texas spots. And
no, they went. I got two.
They went.
So let me tell you. So we sitting at the party that night, and I said, I'm gonna get up with y'all. They partied with us, drinking, Granny them giving them moonshine and all that real moonshine. And they got up at 5 in the morning and knocking on my door, and I didn't get up, but they went to all the spots that day, you know.
Right, and he told you at the end of all that your barbecue is actually better than all these other spots. And that's why he wanted to work with you.
Yeah, real talk.
Okay, and you have this restaurant here. There's one in Santa Monica.
One in Santa Monica.
Okay.
One at the Proud Bird.
Okay, and there was one in Australia at one point that opened.
Yeah, but it closed up now.
It closed down.
Yeah, the pandemic, we didn't recover from the pandemic.
Right.
But they did the same thing. The guy came and enjoyed the barbecue, went back, and the owner, I forget his name, was like, no, I want to come do the tour. And Peter Prince, and he said, okay. So they came and did the tour, went all over Kansas City, this and that, and how they be dissing West Coast barbecue. But then at his last stop, he brought them to Compton, and the guy fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is who I want to work with. But he let him go through the whole thing, and the guy, why didn't you bring me here? He said, because I know you was reading all the hype and reading this and that, you know.
I remember in 2013, that's when I first heard about Bludso's. You know, I looked on Yelp and we're just looking at cool barbecue spots. Like, oh, there's a place in Compton called Bludso's. We're like joking, like, is there a Cripso's like across the street or something?
Yeah.
Like, when we went down there, man, the barbecue was phenomenal.
Appreciate it.
Phenomenal. And I remember when you guys first opened this place, I went down here. You know what I mean? I had a bunch of hot links and, you know, the ribs and the huge, you know, that huge beef rib that you guys had. And I'm like, yo, this is special. And the sauce is really kind of different also. It's not the usual. It's just not the usual barbecue sauce.
Nah, so we had to so it was Granny's sauce from the beginning, but Texas sauce is real thin.
Yeah.
So we had to just thicken it up, but we didn't want the sauce to overpower the meat.
Yep. No, I love the spicy sauce, man. That's my thing.
Yeah,
that's my thing.
That's where it's at.
Well, and you started doing a lot more stuff. So in 2020, you became a judge on the Netflix series American Barbecue Showdown.
American Barbecue Showdown.
Did that change things in terms of?
I mean, that wasn't the first thing. The thing that really changed things was when I did my first bar rescue episode with John Taffer.
Right.
And that was allow me to be me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was the first thing. And that just opened up the doors for so many other shows, you know. And then now the Showdown is just something incredible I do every year, and it does well, and I enjoy doing it.
Yep. And you actually wrote a book recently.
Wrote a book, a James Beard Award-winning book.
A James Beard Award. Like, that is such a huge deal. Were you remotely expecting this to happen when you wrote it?
Nah, I didn't even, I didn't want to write a book. Noah and James, because like I say, we tell these stories, and people think you lying. So I would hold up, y'all looking at me funny. Let me call somebody. And I'll call an uncle or auntie. You remember so-and-so? Oh, hell yeah, I remember. And they would tell the story. And James was like, man, you got to put this in a book. Like your memoirs, you got to put them in a book. And we wanted to do such a different book. Like I said, I remember our publishing company fought us on the cover. You know, I wanted to keep it gangster, but I wanted to keep it country. You know what CC Rider mean, you know, Compton, whatever. But I did CC Rider, Corsicana, Compton.
Okay.
And flipped it over, and they went crazy, you know.
I mean, James Beard Award is a huge deal. A huge deal.
So that, and 3 times, Vlad, we were the #1 book on Amazon.
Nice.
Overall, not just cookbook.
Really?
3 times we the in June when the book first came out, we were over Dr. Seuss as the #1 book on Amazon.
More than Dr. Seuss.
In June.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
So you personally, you still eat barbecue?
Yeah, I still like barbecue.
What are your favorite dishes here?
I love the brisket, I love the ribs, I love all that. I mainly love the cocktails though.
Okay. So let's talk about a few of the dishes that we're gonna actually see how they're made and so forth.
Okay.
So let's start with the sauce first.
Okay.
So what does the sauce consist of?
Our barbecue sauce,
Yeah.
tomato paste. I ain't gonna give y'all my shit now.
Well,
you know.
it's in the
but tomato
but
paste.
it's actually in the
To a
in
certain
the cookbook.
point, yeah. But tomato paste,
Okay.
mustard, a few other little things. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have the actual ingredients
To a point.
to a point. So can
Yeah.
you talk about what's actually in the book?
Yeah. It's the recipe in the book is an incredible recipe.
Okay.
In fact, somebody just hit me up the other day that they won some barbecue sauce cook-off for best barbecue sauce in Tennessee with the recipe that's in the book.
Really? Okay. Now the mac and cheese.
Okay.
I had that the other day.
How you like it?
I love it. I love it. It's different because it's different types of cheeses.
Yeah, it's
So-
6 different cheeses.
6 different cheeses.
Yeah.
Tell me how you make it.
You know, well, one thing you got to get the noodles right,
Okay.
and
So what do you mean
know,
by getting the noodles right?
we boil our noodles in chicken broth,
Ah.
and we season our noodles.
Ah.
You got to see some seasoning on your noodles.
Okay.
You know what I
I've
mean?
never
And
heard
then
that
we
before.
make
Never heard that
a
before.
cheese sauce.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are the cheeses you actually use?
Parmesan, sharp cheddar, mild cheddar, Kobe Jack, and mozzarella.
Okay. So what gave you the idea to actually combine so many different types of cheeses?
I mean, that's the way my mother and my granny always did it.
Aha.
Yeah.
That's how they made it.
That's
so
how
it's
they made
basically
it.
their recipe.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So let's start with the mac and cheese.
Try that mac.
Okay. You want some?
No, I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let me taste and make sure it's right, because I don't
Let's
have
go.
to fire nobody. Oh, yeah, you good.
Yeah. You got it right? Okay. So this right here is a 6 cheese blend.
6 cheese blend.
Got the crust on top.
Got the crust on top. Did you get some crust on there?
Right there.
There you go.
Yep.
You see them eyes roll back in his head?
So you actually make the noodles in chicken broth.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't, it tastes a little bit different than
You
the
got
usual.
it's all about layers, man. It's got to be layered all the way from start to finish.
How long does this usually take to bake?
Like an hour.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah. The prep is the longest, grating cheese and all that, but the prep is the longest.
Okay. Now the collard greens are different than what I usually
Yeah.
have. Tell me how those
I
come
mean,
together.
smoked pork jive, turkey necks, cooked low. You see a lot of people cook collard greens and they throw a big old ham hock or something in and don't let it cook. You have to make the broth. Collard greens or any kind of greens come from the broth. So you have to cook it down. We start 2 hours with our broth. And when you taste that broth, it's got to taste like a soup or something. And that's when you know your green's going to be on point.
Okay, and that came from your grandmother also?
Yeah, grandmother and grandmom.
So all of this is basically, I mean, did you modify any of the recipes
Yeah,
as
like I
time
told
went
you,
on?
I had to modify the sauce, thicken it up a little bit. I had to cut back some salt on the greens. But other than that, no, I'm gonna give you how I got it. Are you like collard greens?
I do like collard
Okay.
greens. Well, I'll be honest, hit and miss.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like it, sometimes a little bit bitter, a
Yeah,
little bit too well.
yeah.
But the key to collard greens is the meat content
Yes,
in it.
yeah.
So do you use, this is turkey right here?
Smoked turkey.
Okay. Do you ever use any like pork and all that stuff?
Sometimes we cook it in jive, but most time now we just cooking in the smoked turkey. See them eyes rolling the back of the head?
This is different than the typical.
Yeah.
Typical collard
Oh
greens,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. Them is Bludso's collard
No, I'm a
greens.
big soul food fan, so I've eaten collard greens pretty
You a
much
big
everywhere.
soul fan all the way around.
Yeah.
You got gangsta all in you. Shit.
But there's like, if you take a look, there's so much meat in here. A lot of times you see collard greens, little something, a little piece of pork here and there, but this is like literally all throughout.
Collard greens are bitter, and
Look
you
at
have to
this.
cook them. You have to get the flavor in them, and then you have to have the meat to balance it out. You know.
That's the key. What kind of broth? Is it your own broth or do you put a different broth in here?
Chicken broth. We
Chicken
cook
broth.
them in chicken broth. Yeah. So
Okay.
and that's what I was saying earlier. You have to cook your turkey down to make the broth.
Got it.
You know.
Now, the meat. Talk about how you do the seasoning.
So brisket is just garlic, salt, and pepper.
So it's simple.
Garlic, salt, and keep it
Okay,
low
that's
and
the
slow.
brisket.
Yeah, low and
Now-
slow like a 6-4, baby. So we got our briskets right here overnight, 15 hours, low and slow like a 6-4. They just went on right now.
Woo.
And these cook all night. We got about about 600 pounds of meat on there right now.
600 pounds.
Yeah.
So how much is each of these, pound-wise?
About 15 to anywhere between 15 to 18 pounds.
Okay, and this is what you're talking about. It was a 15-hour process?
15-hour smoke bath.
Okay, so you rub it with salt and pepper?
Garlic, salt, and pepper.
Just plain?
That's it.
Okay.
We let the smoke and all that do all the work.
What do you use for the smoker itself?
We use post oak and pecan.
Aha.
Yeah.
So what is it about those things that really...
It just gives it that real Texas flavor.
Okay, so it's a Texas thing.
We go post oak early, and then we mellow it out with pecan. And like I say, we have somebody that comes in and wraps these after about 8 to 10 hours.
So you wrap them in tinfoil?
Butcher paper.
Butcher paper?
Yeah,
Why butcher paper?
Because butcher paper doesn't sweat out. When you wrap with tinfoil, and then you see all that juice in it, you know, that juice is supposed to be inside the brisket.
Aha.
Yeah, so when you wrap with foil, it stings it. Once these take about 8 hours of smoke, they don't need no more smoke. They just need to finish cooking and get tender.
Okay.
You know.
All right, let's cut up some meat. All right, so this is one of the briskets right here.
This one of the briskets, 15 hours.
Okay, wrapped in butcher paper.
Wrapped in butcher paper. Get the butcher paper off.
That looks really tender right there.
Yeah, you see that bark on there?
Woo!
And you see that jiggle? You see that?
The jiggle.
Yeah. I like to cut right here at that center.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that.
So the smoking gives it that color.
The smoke gives it that little smoke ring right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you try it. You tell me what you think.
Okay.
Try a piece of that. So you taste that it ain't over smoke. It's
Yep.
still juicy.
You taste the
it's
smoke.
still tender.
Yep. It's got the bark on there. It's really, really soft. It's kind of crumbling, but it's not falling apart.
No, you don't want it to fall. You want to still be able to cut it, you know? And let me show you another little thing we like to do. You see that bend on there?
So the bend.
The bend is like, it's just like a rib.
Right.
You don't want it to fall apart. If a brisket falls apart and it don't bend like that, that means it's overcooked. It's going to shred and all that. You want to still be able to have this bend on. You want to still be able to pick it up and everything. You see that?
So that's a perfect brisket right there.
That is a perfect brisket.
Okay. Love it. Love it.
You want some more?
Sure. Why not? I'm not going to turn down a free brisket.
Right there, man. Get this in right there. So you taste that smoke on there?
Yep. Delicious. Let's try a little bit of brisket.
Look at that.
Look at this.
That's tender like old girl I took to the prom.
Dip it in some sauce.
See how it melts in your mouth? But it's still full. You can still taste the smoke. You can still taste the seasoning and everything on there.
Works perfectly with the sauce.
Yeah.
Works perfectly with the sauce. And you're right. It's still got the bark right here. And then it's got a little bit of fat content here, but just perfectly come together. Now, what about the ribs?
The ribs, we got a nice rub we do on that. Brown sugar, garlic salt, seasoning salt, celery salt, a few other little things in there. I mean, rib pork can take sugar. Beef can't take sugar, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I don't want no sweet beef.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I like some sweet pork can take sweet. So a lot of people put it, that's why their briskets get burnt. I just like keeping brisket salt and pepper. Brisket is a good cut of meat. So you should be able to make it stand out just with salt and pepper. And the garlic, salt, and pepper, that's what we do.
Okay, and you have that giant beef rib.
Yeah, the dino rib. And the same, so we season that exactly the same way.
As the brisket?
Just with garlic, salt, and pepper. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, while you're actually cooking the meat, you spray it with applesauce.
On the
apple juice, I mean.
Apple juice.
Apple juice,
on
I
the
mean.
pork.
On the pork.
And then we baste the beef. We baste the beef like with a beef broth and vinegar and Worcestershire sauce.
Okay, so why apple juice?
I mean, on the pork, just the sweetness. And it just but you can't, you gotta let it smoke for like 2 or 3 hours. And then you hit it. When that crust gets hard on it, if you hit it too quick, the seasoning gonna come up. But pork can take sweet. So when you hit it with that sweet apple juice on that sugar, baby, it just solids it up and make it like a crust on it.
And I've heard you say this in other interviews, like, you don't try to create meat that falls off the bone. You say when that happens, it's overcooked.
Bite off the bone.
Bite off the bone.
Off the
bone. So explain the difference.
Falling off the bone. If you pick up a rib, if you can't cut a rib and it's whole, it's overcooked. And overcooked is not gonna be the same flavor. It's gonna be steamed out and all that. You're supposed to be able to hold a rib. And I'm not talking about a competition rib. I'm talking about, we call them retail ribs. Competition ribs still like a little tug. I don't want no tug on my ribs, but I want you to be able to bite that whole rib and it don't fall off the bone. So when I'm in Texas, I'm smoking out on the lake, on acres of land. When I'm in LA, I got to smoke in the alley. Because what's an alley? Smokers, right? So, you know, So show them what we got on here.
Different kind of smokers, though. Well, you know.
Different kind of smoke. So we got ribs and our homemade chicken links on here, rib tips.
Okay, so it's motorized and it's just rotating.
Oh yeah, so it's a rotisserie, so the smoke just goes over it. Cause like I say, everything we do is low and slow.
Okay, and he's spraying it with apple juice.
Apple juice on the pork.
That's the pork ribs.
If you spray some apple juice on the beef, you know he's gonna get fucked up.
Okay, now what are these right here?
So those are rib tips.
So these are
rib tips are like the bark off the top of the rib, like what they call it, the brisket bone.
Okay. What do you prefer, the rib tips or the ribs?
I prefer them both, but I like the ribs. But the rib tips are, you know, you go to Chicago, they gonna want rib tips. You know.
Okay. And over here is all the wood.
So that's our wood. That's our post oak. So all different woods for different things. We got post oak, we got apple, we got pecan. So the pork gets post oak, apple, and pecan. The beef only gets pecan and post oak.
Got it.
So these are pork ribs. These ribs have been named the best ribs in the United States many times. And it's the same thing. Like you can still pick this up, but this is our test. When you can do this and it comes, that's how you want it. You can still cut that rib. You see that? You see how you can hold it, but you can still pull that. So now if it was overcooked, you would pick it up and it would fall apart. Won't that look good?
Delicious.
Think you want to slap your mother-in-law, not your mama, your mother-in-law. Now these guys do incredible work, man.
Do you ever try to mess around like Beyond Meat or Impossible Burgers or anything else like that? Nah. Don't touch none of that.
Nah, I ain't. You know, it's so funny. They're like, "Oh, you need to get a vegan option," and I say, "Okay, when vegan restaurants get meat options, I will."
Okay. What do you think about lab-grown meat? You heard about that?
Yeah, I'm old school.
You're not touching it.
Like I want it out running wild.
Okay.
You know?
Straight out the animal.
Straight out the animal. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
How you like yours?
Same way you like yours.
Yeah.
I eat meat. You know what I'm saying? I try to go vegetarian here and there, but I couldn't,
Well, you
couldn't
look
keep
good,
it up.
though.
Hey, you know.
You know, I lost 200 pounds.
I lost like 25 pounds.
You look good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Remember what I was telling you about? Look how beautiful that is. You remember I was telling you, like,
Right.
you don't want it to fall off the bone?
Right.
But you want to be able to do a clean bite like this?
Try one.
Yeah, try one.
Okay. I haven't had these in a little while. So it's got the red from the
smoke ring.
From the smoke ring, exactly.
You got the bark from the rub.
Right. And it was sprayed with apple juice.
You got the glisten from the apple juice that wakes up the bark. Ain't that all right?
Anyway, it doesn't fall off the bone.
But bite off the bone.
But it comes off the bone easy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fall apart on you.
It doesn't fall apart. So these are our rib tips.
Delicious.
And it's like we like to cut them like medallions like this.
Okay.
You can dip it. Or you can eat like you do. Do you taste it first? Make sure you got that smoke up in there.
Okay. It tastes different than the ribs.
Yeah. It's actually the top part off of bigger ribs. But that gristle and all that smoke gets in that gristle and all that, it's incredible.
Delicious.
I want people to come in, and I don't want one thing to stand out with everybody. Like we can come in some night, like we do, you gotta come back for Oxtail night. We do a big thing in LA, it's one of the biggest
I saw that
food
in the cookbook.
Yeah, you gotta come back for Oxtail night, it's huge. We do.
I'm a big oxtail guy. I'm a big Jamaican food guy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You know Rashid from my show? From the Showdown?
I haven't watched it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
But I have a lot of guest chefs come in. We do curry, jerk, southern, smothered, all kind of different oxtails.
So how do you
Oxtail night is one of the biggest nights in LA.
How do you do your oxtail?
I mean, it depends which ones. We smoke them if we doing smoked oxtail.
I don't think I've ever had smoked oxtail.
Yeah, we smoke them if we doing jerk. Only ones that don't get smoked is the southern smothered oxtail. And we do those in gravy and we kick those low and slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jamaican oxtail is completely smothered.
In either jerk or curry.
Like a brown gravy sauce.
Yeah. But see, we
Yeah,
do the soul food.
Yeah.
The soul foods we doing is a brown gravy sauce.
Right.
Those are the ones that ain't smoked. But all the rest of them are smoked with pimento wood. We do, like I say, we do a curry, we do a jerk, we do a straight up barbecuing. That's incredible. Oxtail night is becoming one of the biggest food nights in LA.
In LA.
And we do it right here.
Okay.
In August.
Aha.
And you will be my special guest that night.
Okay. I'm here. I remember, like when I first moved to New York, my first regular gig was in a Jamaican restaurant called the Grill Village.
Okay.
I used to go there, I think, every Wednesday. And, you know, I was broke at the time, so they would let me eat whatever I wanted in the kitchen. And, you know, when you're broke, you don't have a lot of money, you don't really want to experiment, you probably wouldn't try oxtail.
Yeah.
You know, when your money's low because you haven't tried it yet.
Yeah.
But being back there, I can just have whatever I want. I started eating oxtail, and I'm like, oh, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah, oxtails are amazing.
Oxtails are...
I mean, I've never seen an ox, but they're amazing.
I always wondered if it came in a tube or something like that.
So you doing that, and like I said, I remember in college, and I would say DJing for $30 and a 4-piece chicken dinner from Williams Chicken. You know, and it wasn't even about the money, it was just about the experience, you know. What was your DJ Vlad, that was your name?
DJ Vlad.
I was DJ Kid. Party didn't start till I walked in.
There you go. Oh yeah, man, I miss DJing, but VladTV sort of took over.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Do you still DJ at home though, solo?
I don't. I can't say I do. I don't even have equipment anymore.
Do you like music though?
I love music.
But I like when you're at home, like, so I mean, my oldest told me one time, damn, Dad, when I was like deep, before Bludso's, when I was like deep into DJing, I wouldn't play music at home no more.
Oh really? No, I play music all the time.
Yeah, but I'm saying at the time, because I was doing it for a living.
Yeah, you get a little burnt out sometimes.
You get a little burnt, just like cooking.
Out, yeah.
Like my woman one time, he said, when I first opened up Bludso's, damn, Dad, what I gotta do to get a steak? But now I'm at that point that I'm so back deep in, I have over 10,000 albums. I'm so back deep into my music.
Really?
Just listening to it. You know, jazz, old school, you know, love it. But you get so far away from it, and then you realize how that was your escape, you know?
Oh yeah, no, DJing in front of a large crowd, that's something that made me fall in love.
Yeah,
the first time I DJ'd and everyone's going, you put in that one record and everyone goes crazy, you're like, oh, this is the most amazing feeling. I mean, I understand why so many people devote their lives to music.
Yeah.
Whether it's rapping, singing, or DJing.
Yeah.
It's all a very similar kind of thing.
What was your party starter no matter what?
Oh man, I did a lot of reggae.
Okay.
I did a lot of like 90s reggae. You know, a lot of DMX up in here. That's always, you know, Black Sheep, Choice is Yours. You know, like the big records that gets everyone hyped.
Mine was Ain't No Future in Your Fern.
Right. MC Breed, rest in peace.
What else? Rest in peace. Of course, No Vaseline.
Oh, really? You play that?
But it was so many ones that was, you know, and I'm like you, like, we used to have little things. How long can you keep the party going before somebody leave the dance floor?
Oh, really?
You know.
Oh, no.
What's the longest stretch you had?
Before anyone leaving? I mean, but I've DJed for 8 hours straight.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Yeah, that's incredible.
You know, it's funny how, like, you don't even want to go to the bathroom. It's like you're such in a zone.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, a lot of times when I was starting out, they would put you wouldn't be in the main room. You'd be in that side room.
That's
you'd be sitting there. You know, only a couple people on the dance floor. You'd have to sit there and meticulously try to get more and more people and then not play that wrong record where everyone just kind of clears out. So, yeah, it's a lot going on. I'm going to have another rib.
You at home, man. This Sunday dinner, baby.
Are that good.
And look how beautiful it is.
Look how red it is on the side. Look at this. Some of the best ribs I've ever had.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
And the crust.
And yeah, you see that bark? That's what it does. That's why we walked you step by step with it. And you see you biting it. It's tender to the bite, not fall off the bone.
Right.
Fall off the bone, get the pitmaster sent home.
Right, because that's how people try to advertise their ribs a lot of times. The fall off the bone meat.
That's
but
crazy.
you don't do that. No, you're right.
If it fall off the bone, it's overcooked.
Incredible ribs. You also kind of have your like a different take on chicken.
Yeah.
Where it's almost like a Mexican style chicken.
Yeah, so that's LA, like the Mexican street chicken.
Yeah.
We took that same thing, made our own little rub with that, and we smoke it. Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta be some LA.
I mean, how do you really incorporate the LA culture into your barbecue?
I mean, that's it right there.
It's Texas,
they grill. They grill. Right? When you see them out there, they grilling.
Yeah.
So we take the same thing with almost the same type of season and we smoke it. And it's incredible. You know, because you're getting that, instead of like a quick 45-minute grill, you got it marinating overnight, and then you doing a 2.5, 3 hour smoke on it, and it's incredible.
Okay, and you have all the smokers in the back.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think I read that after you left the Department of Corrections, you got a settlement
Yeah, yeah.
And then you used that money to buy your first
To
smoker.
buy my first smoker.
And how much
Yeah.
was it at the time?
I mean, it wasn't that much. I forgot. It was
A few $1,000s?
It should have been more than that. My smoker was, I got a close fit out of Houston, and it was like $7,500.
Okay.
And I started barbecuing on the corner of Mel and Laurel in Compton selling dinner. So those are our jumbo wings. So we smoke those, which are huge in LA. In fact, they just made like some of the top wings in LA. So we smoke them and then we fry them.
Okay, why are they jumbo wings?
Because they some big ass wings.
They're
They look
big
like
ass
little-
wings.
They look like turkey wings.
That's a big wing.
And you gotta get it, but you still gotta get it right. A lot of times you got a jumbo wing and it don't get tender. My guy here is gonna get those things tender, and then we're gonna fry them and put some sauce on them, and they're incredible for Monday Night Football, Super Bowl coming up. Super Bowl, we sell what, like 10,000 of these things? Yeah. Something like that.
Okay, so you smoke them first and then you fry
And
them.
then we fry them
Oh.
like a buffalo wing.
Aha, so
Yeah.
you put like a coating on them or?
Yeah, we got our own little barbecue sauce that we put on.
Got it. So smoked and fries. That's the difference
Smoked
between
and
most
fries.
people's wings and your wings.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is kind of like the Mexican style you were talking about?
I mean, not on these, that's on our whole chicken.
Aha.
You know, but kind of still, we still use our chicken rub on this.
Chicken
Yeah,
roll,
yeah. The polo asada, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Try that chicken, Vlad.
Okay. Ribs right now is the winner.
The winner,
Right
okay,
now, right
okay,
now.
all right.
I'm not finished yet, but
All
right
right.
now it's the ribs. All right.
And that chicken's incredible.
Okay, so this is like a pollo asada.
Yes,
The
yes,
smoked.
yes.
We just saw it get smoked back there. Ah, the drink is coming. Okay. What do we got right here?
This is a Pitmaster's Punch.
Pitmaster's Punch.
With
Okay.
vodka, what is it, vodka and what else?
Pineapple infused vodka. There's grapefruit juice in there. There's some agave syrup. There is some ginger syrup, a splash of soda, and some saline.
Wow. Okay. And then you got the,
And a dry ass lemon on the top.
Dehydrated-
I'm sorry, dehydrated lemon. I'm sorry.
Dehydrated lemon on top, and a little sprig of mint.
Wow. Okay. All right.
It's all right, ain't it?
Oh, this is great. Okay. The pollo.
Tell me now. I know
This
you
is,
done
this
had
is
it.
like a mix between Mexican and
barbecue,
barbecue
Texas,
and
Yeah, we
LA.
gotta have some LA and Compton in there.
okay.
So you taste everything we saying, right? Yeah.
Very tender. It's not like a typical wing. That's relatively tough.
Yeah, yeah.
This kind of
But
like
it still holds. It
still holds, but it falls apart very quickly when you eat it.
Like we say, tender to the bite.
Explain to everyone the difference between smoking versus like traditional barbecuing.
Well, traditional barbecue is grilling.
Yeah.
And like we can say all this, everybody always say like, oh no, traditional barbecue is smoking. No, you go back to the days, all they had was grills. They were smoking some places, but all you had is grills. You go back to when I was young, all you had was Weber grills and open grill and all that. Smoking was always done in the South, but most of the United States was grilling, you know. So grilling is directly over coals.
Yes.
Smoking is indirect. Ain't no coals touching you,
Aha.
you know. So it's you got a firebox, you got your meat in your cooking chamber, and all you got is smoke coming through there.
Okay, so the briquettes and everything are somewhere in a different area,
Yeah.
and they just you
In
keep
your
them hot,
smoke box.
and then just the steam and the smoke.
The steam and the smoke
That's
is
what makes
cooking
the
the
meat.
So like when you're grilling, like you can grill a rib in an hour and a half. On a smoke, it's gonna take 3.5, 4 hours.
Okay, that
You know?
long.
And don't get me wrong, I still like grilled ribs. I still like Woody's barbecue
Yeah.
and Phillips and all that to this day.
Yeah.
But we do it, like I say, we do it low and slow like a 6-4. That's how we do it. That's how we get in.
So it takes about 4 hours to smoke.
About 3.5, 4 hours.
3.5,
for some
4
ribs.
hours. Do you ever go longer? Is there like a longer 12-hour smoking
Oh, brisket
process?
is like 15 hours.
15 hours
So
for
we
the
have
brisket.
pit masters that come in tonight that smoke brisket all night. Brisket and pork shoulder all night.
So they come in, they put it in the smoker, and then tomorrow afternoon,
Tomorrow,
That's-
so they'll get in, they'll put brisket on at 6.
okay.
And then they'll be here till 6 in the morning. They got to wrap, because we wrap our briskets, get them back on, and then when the staff comes in at 8, they take them off.
Aha. Okay. Long process.
Long process. But let Vlad look at that side of it. Tell me what it say. You know you had to keep it gangster.
Low and slow like a 6'4". I'll put the 6'4" Impala on the map.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted a 6'4" Impala.
sir.
After Easy rapped about it.
Yeah.
Okay, you got one?
Yeah, I do. Well, my cousin got one. I just use it. And then my
Okay.
guy Primo, who was in there, he is the classic car guy. 59, 64s, all that.
Love it. So this is the newest smoker right
This
here.
is the newest one. That thing right there holds about 75 briskets.
75.
Yeah.
How much something like this run to make?
This about 40,000.
40,000.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have, this is the big one, but you have three.
So you have
smokers,
two
right?
old hickories, and then we have the M&M, which the M&M is what we rolling with from here on out.
Okay.
This one is just straight up wood, and they have this airflow system that does the same thing, but when the temperature goes down, this opens up to let more fresh air in there to keep your temperature right. But it's no gas. And let me show you how big. Come show them how big it is.
Yep.
So we use this part-time for the March studio bomb.
Okay. I don't know about all that, but I didn't hear that.
Go ahead. You ready?
Yep.
So this is all, but look, let me let y'all step in there and look how big that is.
It goes all the way back.
All the way back. So this can hold like 75 briskets.
This is the rotisserie right here.
So with the rotisserie, even though we still base, when you have it full of brisket, it's self-based. The top one's based and they drip on the other brisket.
Oh.
So when we have when it's full of briskets, they self-base. So briskets drip as they cook, the fat as it renders. And so on here, when it's full, all they do is just baste each other.
Ah, so the juice pretty much hits the meat underneath,
Yes.
and it just keeps going.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
So what's next for you? You got how many restaurants now? Is it 2 or 3?
3.
3 restaurants right
Yeah.
now. Do you plan on having more of a chain situation?
Yeah,
or?
we working on some things. We working on some things. We got some irons in the fire.
Yeah. Any other regions? Any East Coast? Down south?
We might do something down south. Texas been big, and I got a little spot with people I work with at the harbor where I live at out on the lake that I just hang out with sometimes.
Yeah.
So we working on some things out there.
Well, Kevin, man, congratulations on opening a business that's very hard to open.
Thanks, man.
You know,
Appreciate
everyone
it.
tries to open up a restaurant at some
Appreciate
point.
it.
You know what I mean? Every athlete, every entertainer, they have an auntie who cooks or a
Yeah.
cousin who
Yeah.
can throw down in the kitchen. They realize very quickly that just because you like to eat food or like to cook food doesn't mean that you know how to open up a restaurant.
It's tough.
It's
tough.
always, it just seems like the hardest kind of business because it's real time. The food is going bad as soon as you purchase it. You don't know how many people are coming in. You gotta make it taste exactly the same way
Consistent
every
all the
single
time,
time.
yeah.
You don't want to come in February and have it taste different in March.
Real talk.
You want it to taste exactly the same. And I heard that's one of the hardest things to do in a
That is
restaurant.
the hardest part. I remember somebody told me like he said, man, we're running this business and stuff. I'm working 75 hours a week. I said, fool, you working part-time. You know what I mean? You working part-time.
Yeah.
Like I remember 8 years without an off day.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you're not gonna come in with that passion and knowing what you gotta do because you're trying to get to a certain point, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. And you gotta have real people around you. I'm sorry. I have real people around me that say, oh no, that sucked. Go back to the drawing board. You can't have yes man.
Yeah.
Before I opened up, I had real people testing my food, all that. My granny, my auntie, my family, my kids, everybody was my guinea pigs.
Right.
And you gotta get better because if you got real folks around, you're gonna get better.
I mean, you mentioned Mac 10 is close to the family.
Yeah.
And you've had interactions with some of the other guys from Compton, like
Grew
the
up with
NWA
Dre,
guys.
Grew up with Dre, grew up with
Yeah?
Easy, all of them.
Oh, you knew Easy growing
Yeah,
up.
oh, yeah,
Any
yeah.
cool stories with Easy?
I mean, just Easy, but Easy was easy.
Easy was easy.
Eric is there. Anytime it was smart, I was DJing a lot of things. He would show up at a lot of things. He always supported, got much love for his son, Young Easy. I mess with him right
Lil
now.
Easy.
and
Yep,
we
I've
all
interviewed
good.
him.
Compton is a small town.
Yeah.
People don't understand that. Everybody in Compton know everybody.
Yeah.
That's why you can't bullshit. Everybody know everybody in Compton, so especially back in them days.
Well, you got to hand it to Easy because I grew up in the Bay, and that was the first time I ever heard of Compton.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
Easy Does It came out,
Yeah.
and he was even joking around calling it Compton, Michigan, and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like,
Saying
he had
he was
never,
14 years
He was
old.
14 years old, exactly. But that he completely put Compton on the map.
Yes, yes.
Totally. To
Yeah.
this day, when you think of gangster music, Compton's usually the first
he
name.
really put West Coast rap on the map.
Yeah.
When I was in college, it was the LA Dream Team.
Exactly.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
Uncle Jam's Army.
Uncle Jam's Army.
Egyptian Lover.
Egyptian Lover,
That whole,
you
that
know.
whole electro wave.
Yeah. Totally different, but hey, it came a long
Yeah,
way.
World Class
but-
Wrecking Crew was part of that
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
And then
That's when
Easy
Dre
Kid-
was with them.
Exactly.
Dudos and all that. You know,
Exactly.
back in the day. But I remember, I tell people this all the time, and I don't be trying to, this is my opinion. I really feel like West Coast rap saved rap. To me, because
I
it
can
took
see
it
that.
to,
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. They didn't give us they wasn't giving them no respect back then.
Yeah.
Till NWA came out.
Yes.
And then a lot of big names still wasn't giving no, East Coast wasn't playing the music, all that,
Right.
But a lot of people was tired of the beatbox. when they came out, started saying, you know, you DJ and started sampling, you think this one song is coming on, Daz, Confunction, or something like that is coming on, and then it's a rap song.
Exactly.
That changed the game.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah, Dre was a genius at that.
A genius.
A genius.
So,
Well,
and I think about funk, and funk played out to a certain point. Rap would never play out.
Right. Still going strong. The #1 genre in the world to this day. Who would have thunk it?
Who
You
would
know
have
what I
thought?
mean? Who would have thought?
If I could rap, I'd be the biggest studio gangster in the world, but I can't rap.
But I remember reading in your book how the cornbread was so important in your house.
It
growing
was.
up, that if grandma forgot to make the cornbread, everyone would have to wait
Everybody would have to wait
until
before she made
cooked it.
Till she cooked it.
From scratch,
Yeah.
and then you'd have the cornbread
You have the
afterwards.
cornbread. So the cornbread is for dipping, or breaking up in your greens, or however you want to do it. Some people like to break it up in their baked beans, break it up in the greens, all that. So my mother and my granddad, that used to be their dessert. They would make cornbread and buttermilk, and that was their dessert on Sunday.
Yeah, it's a very sweet cornbread.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It's incredible.
And these
Okay.
are homemade beef hot links that we make in-house.
Okay, so how do you make the beef hot?
It's 70-30, brisket and fat, and brisket fat.
Got it.
Yeah. I love sausage, man.
I
You
love
see that
sausage, too.
texture on that? And I like to, I usually got bread, but I like to dip it in the hot sauce like
Okay.
that.
We try it without the sauce first. It's a very
Take that
dense.
snap to it.
Very dense,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Got a bite.
Got a little heat on the back end.
Yep. A little bit spicy, but not too bad. Trying the hot sauce.
But you like that hot sauce, don't you?
Yeah. That just sets it off.
Yeah. And then that's our pulled pork. Same thing, she didn't pull it thin enough, but I like it a little bit more thinner, but you know, still juicy, still good.
So is this usually enough for the sandwich?
Yeah, but people get it by the pound, and some people don't want it with bread, they get it with, you know, normal.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
But we do it like a stacked half-pound pulled pork sandwich, that's incredible.
Works so well with the sauce.
Yeah,
Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, when you look at, for example, like St. Louis style ribs, what's the difference between this kind of rib and a St. Louis rib?
So St. Louis, well, first of all, St. Louis rib is just a cut on the rib.
Okay.
That's all it is. You got a spare rib, a St. Louis rib is just broken down on the cut. Cuts the brisket bone out and cuts it and makes it more, you know, it's just a cut. But you got Memphis ribs, which are more sweeter, sauce on it. You got Texas ribs, sauce on the side. You got Kansas City ribs that are sauce on it. Like a lot of regions, like, and I tell people all the time, like, most of the reasons is just the woods that you use. What do you have to use? What kind of woods? You know?
So you don't put the sauce on the ribs at all?
No. I mean, if somebody want it, we will.
Okay.
But you, and I don't have, and like a lot of people, oh no, you put a sauce and you hiding me. No, you ain't hiding shit. You gonna get that customer what he
Well,
want.
the sauce will burn if you try to cook it with
Oh
the
yeah,
sauce,
you can't
right?
cook it with no sauce.
You put
but
the sauce
a lot,
on usually at the very end.
But a lot of places like Woody's, the sauce is on when you get it.
Right.
And I love it.
And they just slather it with the sauce.
Yeah, yeah. But it ain't when you cook, cause yeah, you're burning. But like
Exactly.
I say, that's like some people who don't know barbecue will say, this is burnt.
Yeah. No.
Ain't nothing burnt.
Not
That's
at all.
That's the sugar that makes the crust.
Aha.
And that's where the flavor is.
And it's dripping right now, as you can
And
see.
it's still
So that's
juicy.
dripping sugar, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think on your own was your big innovation?
I mean, I just think giving respect to West Coast barbecue
Yeah.
because it wasn't respected. I mean,
You're right.
now it's a trip now. Like, I'm the Godfather
This is true.
from all over, You know, winning the Steve Harvey Hoodie Award back in the day.
Okay.
Winning all kind of different, but there's so many young people from all over that looks up to us. And like I tell people, I said, man, let me tell you something. back when I was a kid, from Central Avenue between South Central LA, Watts, and Compton, you had over 20-some barbecue places. And they was from all over, Mississippi, Texas. We had everything here. You know what I mean? Yep. Everybody had their own regions, but we had all that because they were migrating here in the 60s.
Right.
Moving to the Jordan Downs, moving to the Imperial Court.
Everyone from the South came up.
Came
exactly.
here, yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of them went to Chicago, but a lot of people came here. So we had some of the best barbecue around, you know? So we always say like at a lot of barbecue restaurants you go to in the sides or store-bought, you got good meat, why not give them good sides too?
Right.
You know, make an experience.
A lot of times it's all about the sides.
It is.
Yeah, a lot of times you go to soul food restaurants and they have just platters of just sides.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes.
Well, at a barbecue restaurant, it's all about the meat, but why
Right.
not give them good sides too?
Yeah.
You know. So the baked beans got brisket meat and barbecue sauce in them.
So this was actually, when I came here the other day to kind of scope the place out, this is actually my favorite side right now.
Okay, cool. I like that.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it's mine.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like baked beans in general, but the way you actually put the meat
Yeah.
inside of it really takes it to a whole different
And the
place.
big chunks of brisket in there.
That's what I'm saying, the big chunks of meat. And the fact there's so much, like, look at this.
Yeah, it's full.
There's big, huge chunks of meat in this. So it's almost, it's not even like a bean anymore. It's almost like a real meat.
Yeah. And the bean is tender. It blends right into the bean. It melts like the beans do.
This is my favorite.
Okay.
This is my favorite side right here.
Try that potato salad.
Let's go. All right, the potato salad.
We at the buffet today.
Okay, so there's always a discussion whether or not you put egg in a potato salad.
It's egg and oil.
I like egg in my
It ain't no goddamn raisin or no goddamn pecans in it. Shit, that's a real potato salad.
Okay, so you got potatoes, you got
Relish,
relish.
green onions.
So do you use mayonnaise? Or do you use...
We use mayonnaise and mustard.
Okay, and then a little bit of paprika on top. Excellent. Very good.
So that's our coleslaw.
Coleslaw I haven't checked out yet.
Check it out.
Let's check it out. Okay, so this is basically cabbage.
Cabbage, and it ain't no goddamn ambrosia salad. It's
No
coleslaw.
ambrosia.
No. It
No
ain't
marshmallows.
It ain't no marshmallow. It ain't Christmas time. So that's actually what we use on top of our pulled pork sandwiches too.
Okay.
Yeah, for
I'm
that
tasting something
crunch.
else. What are the spices in here?
You got a little sugar, a little salt, a little cayenne. You got a few little things in there. A little hint of cumin. Yeah.
That's what I'm tasting.
Yeah.
Cumin.
You gotta try that corn. You gotta try our pickles.
Let's try
So
pickles
we
first.
brine our pickles for 8 days.
Wait, for 8 days.
8 days.
What do you brine them in?
Vinegar, salt and pepper, and pickle brine.
Vinegar, salt, pepper, and pickle
Pickle
brine.
brine.
Got a nice snap to it. Not like overly sweet.
No, you
Nice.
don't want them over because, you know.
Yeah. 'Cause I can tell if you incorporate it into a sandwich,
Yeah.
you don't want to kind of overpower
Yeah,
the meat. Yeah.
You taste that vinegar on the back end?
Yep. Yep, a little bit tart.
Yeah.
Very good. Great job on this, man. Well, you could tell like how long it took to develop these recipes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like this is just a very, you can tell how mature the recipes are. It's not something you just throw together.
I was cooking brisket for my granny at 9 years old. Up all night with her at 9 because I was so infatuated with what she was doing. But it was mainly just hanging out with her. Because like I said, I told her, I swore I wasn't going into food service.
Right.
I'm not finna do this shit, you know. And
That was 50 years ago.
50 years ago. Here I am now.
Amazing, man. Amazing. You really created something new here.
Appreciate it,
and,
man.
Congrats on the James Beard Award,
Thanks,
which is
man.
the highest honor you could get in the literary world.
It is.
A hit show on Netflix, multiple restaurants, more on the way, man. I mean, you really done it, man. I appreciate
Nice
everything.
hanging out
man.
with you, man. Thanks for
Absolutely.
hanging out with me,
Hey,
baby.
man, listen,
Real
this
talk.
has been my spot for a long time.
Hey, well, it's
But I've
gonna
never met
continue.
you before.
Well, I had never met you, and you've been my OG for a long time.
There
so
you go.
we hanging out.
Yes, sir.
All right, baby.
Yes,
Much
sir.
love.
And the drink here, man, also incredible.
Yeah, we got some cold cocktails here.
Yes, sir.
Incredible bartenders.
Yep. No, man, this is a great place. This is a great place. And it's been here for how many years now?
10 years this year.
10 years.
Yeah.
And look, I mean,
And a lot of people say we closed Compton down and moved. No, we opened this up and way before we closed Compton down.
right, because I mean, with Compton, you had a problem with the landlord, I guess?
Yes, she was a horrible. She was a bitch. And she didn't think we would walk. But I had already said, like, when I
had the
turned
location,
50,
yeah.
yeah, but when I turn 50, I'm gone.
Yep.
You know, so I ain't turned 50 yet, but I'm gone.
All right, so here we go. This is the actual book that we talked about that won a James Beard Award. Here's, of course, Kev on the front.
CPT?
CPT, got Compton in the back where the Hollywood side is supposed to be. got the smokers, the grills, the smokers over here. You know, then you got the Texas shout out over here.
Corsicana. And then we actually did the, got my granny in there. But we actually did the, we kept it OG with this.
Right, this is the Death Row style.
Yeah.
Death Row style family cover.
Gotta
All
keep it
eyes on
calm.
me. All eyes on me style cover on the inside. And that's your whole family, right?
That's the whole family.
This is all the kids.
Yeah, that's moms, that's pops. That's Dallas, my son, my daughter, my niece, nephew, sister, nephew, niece, nephew, son, my doctor, that's a doctor now. I had to put the ex-wife on there because I don't want to go to court. My brother, brother-in-law, nephew, niece, the whole family.
Love it.
I don't know who this motherfucker is with them more chins than a Chinese phone book.
Need some facial hair like me to cover it up. Bludso's Barbecue, man. If you guys are ever in LA, this is a must try. Definitely try the ribs. Definitely try the beans. Try the collard greens. The links are incredible. Where is this restaurant located for people?
609 North La Brea, and we actually just opened up a new location in Santa Monica on Santa Monica Boulevard. And man, we gonna keep doing what we do.
That's what it is, man. I love it.
Ain't much
My
to
man.
say.
My man.
For life.